Hello, welcome to the module of Advantages of Cloud Testing, and in this video we are going to learn about the advantages of cloud testing. In this video we are going to focus first on an overview of the cloud testing, then we would be talking about the types of testing in the cloud, then we would be defining also the kind of testing could be performed in the cloud, then we would be talking about like the testing that could be performed within the cloud and the benefits of cloud testing. So let's get started. Now, cloud testing is the process of using the cloud computing resources of a third-party service provider to test the software applications, which can refer to like the testing of cloud resources such as like an architecture of cloud native software as a service like a SaaS offerings, or using the cloud tools as part of the quality assurance or the QA strategy. So typically, like cloud testing could be valuable to the organization in the number of ways. So if we define that for the organization which has been testing for the cloud resources, it can ensure like the optimal performance, the availability and the security of the data, and where it can also minimize the downtime of the associated infrastructure or the platform. Organizations which has been also test the cloud-based SaaS products, that's to ensure that the applications has been functioning properly, and for the companies which has been testing the other kind of applications like the cloud computing tools as opposed to the on-premises QA tools, it can help the organizations that to cut down the cost or on the testing cost, that's to improve the collaboration efforts between the QA teams. So what are the types of cloud testing? Now there are three kinds of cloud testing that could be offered so far. While the cloud testing is in broad terms that refers to like the testing of applications through like the cloud computing resources, but there are three main types of cloud testing that can vary by purposes. One of them that is called as a testing of cloud resources. So the cloud architectures and other resources that could be accessed for performance and for the proper functioning aspects. So that involves like testing of a provider's platform as a services like the PaaS offering or IaaS offering, or it could be also involved like the disaster recovery and the data privacy and the security testing. Now, what is this SaaS testing or software as a services testing? If we call about the SaaS testing, it is a software testing process in which the software application is being built in a software as a service model, which is going to be tested for the functional as well as non-functional requirements. The goal of the SaaS testing is to ensure that the quality of the testing, data security, integrity, performance, compatibility, and scalability of the software application. Now, what are the types of cloud testing? Now, if we have to define about the types of cloud testing, that's to start with like a SaaS or the cloud oriented testing, where the cloud's architectures and the other resources that has to be assessed for performance and the proper functioning aspects. Now, it involves like testing of the provider's PaaS or IaaS. Now, there should be some of the common tests that may access like scalability, disaster recovery, and the data privacy and security. It should also involve the type of cloud testing like the online based application which can be involved over the testing on the cloud. So like QA testing or the SaaS products that could reside in the cloud. And it should also involve like the cloud based application testing over the cloud. So that involves like the cloud based tools and resources for the QA testing. Now, if we have to define about the kind of testing that is actually could be performed on the cloud. Now, cloud testing actually refers to that the areas of performance, the application availability, the security, scalability, multi-tenancy, and the live upgrade testing. So once we have been performing this the cloud testing on these various aspects, so basically that the cloud testing actually being provides that the main features that is in terms of an availability performances, the compliance requirement that should be met while we are performing this cloud testing, whether for the BFSI sector it should meet with the compliances or data governance aspects like PCI DSS compliance policies or HIPAA in case of healthcare domain. So it should also involve like the proper security aspects of the data encryptions, the network level encryptions, the ports and protocols, the proper authentication authorization principles in places, and it should also involve like the proper scalability aspects in terms of the availability of the increasing the number of instances or decreasing based on the network traffic and the application demand, and multi-tenancy that as far as like the numerous numbers of users that belongs to the different domain, that's to have the proper support for authentication and authorization based on the application functionality and the live upgrade testing. So we should be also being evolved to know that the different types of as an example of the cloud testing that could be performed. So while we have been performing the cloud testing, so there could be like various types of testing that could be performed as part of the example perspective. It should involve like the functional testing, that's to start with, that involves like including the smoke testing, sanity testing, white box testing, black box testing, integration testing. It should involve like the user acceptance testing and the unit testing aspects. Then if we also talk about the system verification testing, so that should involve the testing that should involve like various modules that where it can work properly with one another, and it should also be interact with that interoperability testing where it can check for these application features to ensure that they have been functioning properly, and an application should also must have the flexibility that's to work with any problems not only on the different platforms, but it should also conjointly work seamlessly when moving from one cloud infrastructure to the another one. Then it should also involve like the acceptance testing, because here like the cloud based resolution, it should be handed over to the users to make sure that it meets the expectation. The non-functional testing, that should involve like a non-functional test which primarily specialize into the web application based test, ensuring that they meet the required needs. And there are like few types of the non-functional test that could also we can talk about, like the performance testing. So test that is involves like the performance of the application under specific workloads, and it is used to determine like the thresholds, the bottlenecks, and other limitations in terms of application performance. If we also talk about that, the network latency is additionally one of the crucial factor that's to evaluate the performance. So also like the workload balancing must be done once there is a reduction in load and by decommissioning the resources. And then we should also talk about the stress testing. This testing helps to determine that the ability of the cloud applications to function under the peak workloads while staying like effective and stable. And finally, we should define about like the load testing. So load testing, that means that it should be able to test about the latency time between the actions and the responses within an application. So this testing should help to measure the cloud application response concerning the user traffic loads. Now if we are now being defined about that the benefits of cloud testing, so cloud testing that should also involve like the several kinds of benefits that it should be incorporated with. So first of all, that it should involve with an availability of the required testing environment, because in cloud testing that that is being involved, like the testing teams can easily replicate the customer's environment for effective testing in the cloud without investing in the additional hardware or software resources for testing. These resources can be accessed from any device with a network connection. And this cloud testing, whenever it has been performed, they have been less expensive, because cloud testing is more cost efficient than traditional methods of testing, as there is no need of investing into additional hardware or software resources. Customers as well as the testing team only pay for what they have been used for. It should also be incorporated with the faster testing, because cloud testing is always being faster than the traditional testing. It circumvents the need for many IT management tasks that can lead to the faster time to market. And altogether, it leads to the proper scalability, because the compute resources can be scaled up or down according to the testing demands. And then we should also talk about the features of as benefits of cloud testing in terms of customization, because cloud testing could be customized as per as the usage perspective, cost and time based on the varieties of the users and the user's environment. And finally, it should also be evolved to the simplified disaster recovery requirements, because DR efforts for the data backup and recovery, which are less intensive than the traditional methods, there we can apply the proper cloud testing approach. So that was like in this video we have covered altogether end to end the advantages of cloud testing. I hope this video has been informative for you, and I look forward to see you in the next video. Thanks for your time.